You're listening to Shoe In, covering the ins and outs of all things footwear, from sneakers to heels, loafers to slippers, and every type of shoe in between. Brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear.
Hey, Shoe and Show listeners, Matt Priest here. Thanks for joining us this week. So excited to have you download and listen to this program. We don't take your listenership for granted because we know you got tons of demands on your time. There's so much content out there. It just never ends, right? But you're checking in with us faithfully and we appreciate it. On today's episode, I'm going to be walking through a conversation I had with Mark Coffield, who is the country manager at OrthoLite Vietnam. Mark and I sat down at the OrthoLite facility in Vietnam a number of weeks ago, and we just talked about the facility there, OrthoLite's capabilities, the cutting edge innovation and technology that is in their factory in Vietnam. We even talked a little bit about Circle, their other emerging technology. And so it's a really great conversation from an expat who has been in the industry for a long, long time, has served at many different athletic brands in particular, and now runs OrthoLite Vietnam. So I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I enjoyed taping it when we were there in country.
Mark Coffield,
yes, sir.
Country manager here in Vietnam, OrthoLite. Thanks so much for having us here in this facility. I've already seen behind the scenes. It's an amazing place. I'm really looking forward to exploring kind of this operation with you. But before we get to that, let's talk about your background. I know a little bit about it, but for our viewers, you know, I love the term shoe dog. I don't know how you feel about it, but walk us through your background and what got you to OrthoLite.
Well, Matt, welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
Welcome to Vietnam. Welcome to OVN right now. And I have to admit, I'm biased, but I am a shoe dog.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen,
so
brother.
I started off with Nike.
Yeah.
I have 20 years with Nike. And I was actually started, and Nike used to have a program called Nike University, which was, in those days, they'd interview and take you if they liked you. They didn't look so much at the details, even if you had a college degree or not.
Okay.
If they liked you, they'd take you. And back in those days, in the mid-'80s, we actually had manufacturing in the United States then.
And
it was based in Exeter, New Hampshire. And
right.
Anyway, so started there. 20 years, I think.
Did you graduate with honors from Nike University?
Of course.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Top of the class?
But so after that, I went to Italy. My first job, I was telling you earlier about it. I went to Italy, and in those days, we thought the future of footwear was direct inject PU.
Okay.
So then I did that. I went to Korea for 4 years. And that's basically where I really think I learned the business. And so it went from, in those days, like I said, it was Korea and Taiwan were the main manufacturing places. But then as costing kind of started catching up, we moved to China, parts of China, Thailand, and Indonesia. So it started getting spread out a little bit more then. So pretty quickly, actually, it went from just Korea, Taiwan to mainly China, Thailand, Indonesia.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to track the history of global sourcing for footwear, all you got to do is take a guy like you and see the addresses in your book, your journey, and you can track kind of the evolution of production as it's moved around the globe, right? And as the industries look to create great facilities that serve global customers, not just U.S. market. And so that's the beauty of the shoe dog story right there. It's like encapsulates it. All right, so let's fast forward to the current time here at OrthoLite.
Okay.
Talk to me about your experience at Nike and other brands and how that prepared you to run a facility such as this one.
First of all, Nike definitely was responsible for my foundation for that. I learned quickly that quality was number one, like on delivery and customer service, basically, and innovation, really. Those things. That built my foundation. But also, Nike had these systems which really, it didn't kind of force you to grow, it didn't put you in something you're really out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So actually when I left Nike and I went to work I had my own business for a while, but I said,
you're an entrepreneur too. That's a whole different conversation.
Anyways, that another 2 years I went down I was in Pittsburgh at that time. So, Dick's Sporting Goods based in Pittsburgh. And so I got involved with the private label stuff, Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And then I made a decision, I'm going to get back in footwear. They had a really strong relationship with Under Armour then. I was able to get some old ex-Nike guys who worked with Under Armour. I worked for Under Armour for about 5 years. So that got me back in.
Was that in Baltimore or in Asia?
First year was Baltimore.
Yeah.
The last 4 years was in China.
Got it.
As a country
Mainland
manager.
China. Yeah. Guangzhou province.
I lived in Guangzou and we worked in Dongguan, and we kind of split those places. So.
Many nights at the Dongguan Sheraton, right?
Yeah. I think I had 15 in a row one time.
Oh my gosh, it's a record.
So
another highlight in the shoe dog life.
Yeah, right, absolutely. But and then that led to I was able to actually a friend that I worked with in Under Armour started working for Specialized, the bikes. And there was an opportunity to be a country manager, stay in China and work for them and be in charge of all their soft goods, which included the footwear, the apparel, gloves.
Oh, all right.
A little bit on helmets, and that stuff.
Well, we got product placement here. You got a bike literally right behind you.
Still, it's Specialized,
It's Specialized. So you're a biker in your spare time, right?
Yeah.
So like that feels like something that really spoke to you, having that opportunity.
It did. I felt very lucky. And that kind of, I took that job. I actually lived a couple years, the last 2 years in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So I commuted back and forth in China.
Yeah, that train and the Shenzhen and then.
But again, that was a nice, you're talking about leading to where I am now. I mean, that was a nice experience too, because it gave me experience in apparel, which, I knew a little bit about, but I've never been directly involved with.
Spoiler alert, footwear and apparel are different industries. I know they get lumped together, but they are very different.
Yeah, and that was a little weird not weird with Under Armour, because Under Armour was the apparel industry that went into footwear. And all the other brands.
was the reverse, footwear and apparel.
Exactly.
Which is once you've figured out shoes are so complex, if you can nail the shoe part, you can make a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Easy.
Yeah. In your sleep, right?
Yeah, right. Anyway, so that same friend went to work for OrthoLite.
Okay.
And we were going through some changes at Specialized at the time. And he said, hey, listen, would you be interested in taking the job in Vietnam?
Right.
And really, I'm getting towards the later stages of my career, and I'm thinking, okay, I would live two places. And so one is Japan or Vietnam. And this came up, so...
Can I dare to ask the question where your friend's going next? Because then that might tell you where you're going next. So you're good. You stay put.
Well, like you said, I'm married to.
Yeah.
So that'll keep me here for a long time on that. So that's kind of what and then all right,
we made it.
Yeah, I made it. I'm here, working for OrthoLite. And I came in with probably a little too much confidence, a little too much, a little bit arrogance, I'd been country manager before, and I've been in many factories before.
Right.
I've never run a factory. And I'd never been in Vietnam, And I thought, well, I've lived in all these countries. I can handle. I can use the same formula I use. It didn't work, And running a factory, just making insoles, It's easy.
Right. Not the case.
And first year, I got my ass kicked really good. That's right. It was really tough. It was tough.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I didn't know if I was going to be able to hang, the first year. Moy out here, had many conversations with her. She said, I don't know if I'm good for this.
Cut out for this, right.
So, but through the 5 years, it's gone from the most difficult job I've ever had to probably one of my favorite.
That's awesome.
So first step is we hired the right people, And our performance, just say delivery-wise, I think early days, we were maybe low 90%, which you may say, that's not bad. But when you're making 350,000 pair a day, and you have, there's a lot of angry people with that 10%.
Right.
So, but we eventually got that back. So within a year, we were able to improve our delivery, our quality. We were able to get good people in to help. To put in professional type quality processes
It's state of the art. I have to say it's a state of the art facility, and I can really tell that you've been a change agent. And your humility is like very refreshing. Like coming in with this history of knowledge in the industry. It's so complex. People take it for granted. It's so complex. And to know that, there was still something you had to learn, to drive great product.
And then the third thing really that was really, really important, is just as important as really the performance in our manufacturing, was our customer service relationships, I'm from the brand, right? So I used to tell people, hey, you do T1s, T2s, you do this, you do this, And then, but I was a T2 now, so so I couldn't do that.
T1's coming to you, so this is the brand.
Again, that's another thing I learned. So our team here, particularly our customer service team, we really turned things around. Instead of complaining, we really made an effort to establish good relationships with all the T1s.
Right. That's so critical because the brands are successful for a reason. They expect excellence.
Yeah.
They expect you treat your workers well. They expect that your quality and your on-time delivery are top notch. And if you can't do even one of those things, they'll walk.
Absolutely.
Right. So you got to foster
and there's no
that.
patience either. They want, you don't deliver once, they're gone.
Right. It's so hard to get that back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal as establishing those customer relationships too. And then, like I said, we got the team in place, and we started working. We got that squared away, so we started working on things like EHS, safety,
right,
sustainability
environmental
things,
safety,
things. And I was, to be honest with you, we have a CEO, Richard Bevan, who has a lot of experience running factories, starting factories. He helped me a lot during this period here, also.
Yeah.
And he pushed the EHS, the safety factor here, and that safety mindset changed very quickly. And I was very, very happy on that.
Yeah.
And so once that kind of settled into the DNA here, then we made improvements in, and we started working on things like automation, process improvement, and it just kind of led to, then we knew we could change safety things, and we kept that it's still our number one priority.
Right.
Everything else kind of falls into place a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's very apparent when you're on the factory floor. The workers are engaged. Everything's digitized. You can track everything in real time. And that's been a lot, from what I understand, a lot of the personnel here have developed that as, folks from Vietnam developing IT and systems to help and learning from the workers about what they think they need to be more successful and productive. I think all that's very positive.
Yeah, we try to keep, that's one of the things we try to, if you look about the culture here, one of the things one is teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
It's like, and that was something we pushed from the beginning. And it was just, there's no tolerance. Teamwork. You're going to be a teamwork, you're not going to be here.
Right.
But, that kind of led, to, that again led to the performance and everything like that. And the culture. But I think what I was getting at is we wanted to create a culture where it was very open.
Yeah.
The people aren't afraid to bring ideas.
Yep.
They're not afraid to bring ideas. And that's really taken off too, not only with just our manager level, next level, but with the people, with maybe that supervisor, team leader level too. So we've brought them involved with, like when we just had a meeting called Objectives and Strategies of 2024.
Okay.
And so we brought them into that conversation, had a nice event at one of the hotels and presented them and got their involvement in it. And so that just, again, and then a response from that when they had that openness to be able to contribute to some of our ideas, it was great. It was great,
And I should say to our viewers that behind you is a wall of you taking a picture with every single employee here in the facility.
Yeah.
Again, speaks to your character as a manager. But talk to me about just a simple act of taking a snapshot and then memorializing each individual human being who works in this facility on your wall, the country manager's wall. How has that been received by the workforce here?
I think very well. I think, and you see it. The reason for this is I wanted to make sure everybody felt like they were acknowledged. That their job was appreciated. They're appreciated, they're valued on that. So, and also is, we had some situations where people have been hurt or they've had, issues at their home. And I was thinking, I don't know these people.
Right.
And it's pretty unrealistic to say I know every one of those people.
Sure, of course.
But at least I can say I've met everyone.
Yeah.
They brought them in. We had their picture taken. We acknowledged them on that. So it's, it's also a reminder every day that, that
who you serve.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It keeps the priorities in the right order on that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to insoles specifically. So you're in the finished goods, let's just call it finished goods world. You come here, you establish this factory, you've been here 5 years. Talk to me about what makes creating insoles so challenging, because the layperson, maybe someone watching this who doesn't know, thinks, of all the components of a shoe, it doesn't look too difficult, but burst their bubble for me in dramatic fashion.
Well, I thought that 5 years ago. I've been in the industry for 40 years, The same thing. This is
how hard can this be?
Yeah, really. I go in my sleep.
Right.
But there's a lot. And there's maybe the number one reason is because we have so many customers.
Yeah.
And each customer has their own
specs.
They have their own designs. We have the different options in the PU to offer.
Sure.
So we have to get all that organized and try to, ship it, produce it efficiently and get it out and make customers. That's number one. And the other thing is we have two types, right? We have a die cut, which is kind of like cookie cutter.
Right.
Then we have a molding. And those are, the die cuts, I admit, that's easy, but still you have to deal with the different materials, different things. But the molding is a little more difficult, so you have to get the right foam, you have to get the right, make sure the alignment's right, the whole process, the molding's done correctly, then it's finished correctly and all that, and so that's kind of the second thing, and then just following, like I said, we're dealing with the different customers and all that. So that's kind of like the biggest thing, because they have different priorities, different delivery expectations and everything like that.
Well, if you think about where we are currently in our industry and what our consumers are looking for, comfort is king. We hear that mantra all the time. You basically host the coronation in that sense, because you're where the foot hits the shoe. And back in the day, a Chuck Taylor or a Vans product didn't have a lot of, cushion.
Right.
Times have changed. And so you're providing that to the consumer. In my mind, that also makes it more complicated, because you're delivering different foams, different materials, different foot experiences, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And then we also have the sustainability,
Right, throw that in.
So we have recyclable product in it. And to organize that, work that into the PU formula and stuff like that.
Has that been a bigger, over the last 5 years, have you seen an increase from your customers demanding those types of innovations?
Yeah, but the nice thing is we had it in before that demand came. We had it in some of our
you were well positioned.
We were,
So. Okay, so let's pivot from that to this notion on the collaboration. You sit as a T2 kind of in this middleman world, right? Talk to me about what you deliver to your customers on the Intel side, data collection, trends that they may not have access to if they weren't in partnership with OrthoLite.
I think number one thing in dealing with them is dependability, right?
Yeah.
And so that's to me, that's the thing I think we have to offer that maybe I kind of look at, it's a very competitive business.
For sure.
We have a lot of competitors and a lot of people getting into the foam business too. And I think, so what can we do? There's somebody else.
How do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah, how do we differentiate ourselves? And a lot of it is related to customer service. The product, we have the product. We have it good. It was good as anybody's, maybe better than ever. And, but what can we do from a customer service perspective? The T1s are on high demand from the brands, right? And so there's always like shifting of orders, of maybe pulling forward order, putting backward order. Of course, the quality, you have to get the quality of what they want and, delivery on time. There's many, short lead time requests.
Sure.
Hey,
we want it yesterday.
Exactly. Particularly for the holidays and stuff.
Right.
So that's a big part. The customer service part is a big part. We have the product, and I can think that also, to continue to work with the customers on maybe future innovation and what can we do? What are they thinking? How can we help them support some of their future innovation on that too? So.
We know, and you know more than I do, how highly competitive all of our favorite brands and customers are, and our members at FDRA. How do you bifurcate out and keep things separate within the facility so that one technology, one customer is asking you to develop, it maybe not be picked off by one of your other customers? It can be quite tricky.
Well, we keep that. I think we do a pretty good job of keeping separated, to be honest with you, whether it's the development part of it or the product. I mean, the product we have to offer is open to everybody.
Right. But I think all those logos that are emblazoned on your insoles are the seals of approval for who you are as a company. I really think that's true. Let's kind of explore how you partner with the T1s on which countries you move into. So let's just say we have ABC country. We won't name a country. I mean, the frontiers are constantly changing in the sourcing world. What makes OrthoLite decide, the time is now to get boots on the ground, to build a state-of-the-art facility and to start serving a customer in ABC footwear country?
Yeah, well, I mean, we stay pretty good. We have pretty good relationships with the big boys, right? And we kind of follow them. We have facilities. Probably the next place is India, right?
Right,
so we've established
a lot of investment there recently. Pouchin has a big investment now in India, one of our big suppliers.
Right. Yeah. And there's been talk about, expanding capacity in Indonesia. So we're going to have a foam facility there, new foam facility there. Mm-hmm. The situation in China, maybe there's a little more future with the domestic market there.
Sure.
So we're set up to feed that domestic market there.
Yeah.
So I think we've right now we're positioned manufacturing to pretty handle the footwear trend wherever it goes now on that. So we have a place in Spain, like I mentioned before, to help, the European market there too. So I think that's been a big initiative from the headquarters, is to make sure we are relevant wherever the footwear industry goes.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Talk about Glenn, the founder, Glenn Barrett, his vision. How does the tone that he sets permeate the entire company?
Well, I love Glenn.
Yeah. What's not to love, right?
That's right.
He's a Red Sox fan, right? Or no, Yankees.
He's
right?
a Yankees fan.
Cut the Red Sox.
Well, I'm a Pittsburgh. But anyways, he just brings a lot of enthusiasm. And he's very supportive.
Yeah.
And I love it when he comes to the factory. He's very appreciative. He seems like and I think that enthusiasm is again, a contagious type thing. And again, the sport's huge because, we had some really tough things to deal with here, and he helped us through this situation.
Yeah, he was patient, right? He knew it was the long game. That's why you're still here.
Not like a brand.
That's good to know. What makes Vietnam different from maybe production in mainland China? Or, for me, it's the workers are not in dormitories. They go home.
Right.
Working hours and wages is less of a challenge, I think, in a factory in Vietnam than maybe in mainland China with such a migrant population. What are some of the other advantages? Why is the industry moving here, and it's the number one supplier for most athletic brands globally now?
Right. I still think Vietnam's the best value, best bang for the buck, I guess you would say on that. The workforce, we've been really, when I talked about the transformation of the leadership here, initially, when they opened up the facility here, they basically just tried to copy what was going on in China.
Sure.
And so they brought all Chinese managers here.
And that's common.
Yeah, exactly.
They got things started for sure.
It got things started, but when they'd grow, we needed to bring local talent in here.
Yeah.
I've been very, very impressed, not only with the managerial level of the Vietnamese talent, but the workforce too.
Right.
Just an example, we have a sports day here, right? And we had a sports day last October. This is like the second we had. It was on a Saturday, completely voluntary.
Right.
You didn't have to come. You get paid if you didn't come. Mm-hmm. So at that time we had 1,030 people.
Okay.
923 showed up.
What?
923 showed up, and it was like
that is amazing.
And we spent a team, the mold area versus the insole area versus the
compete against each other. Yeah.
The spirit and the team was just incredible.
What were the sports that they played?
Oh, well, we had made up some like tug of war, and they had these big balls that they had to carry, sort of thing,
right.
Running and
team building stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And to me, that was the kind of epitomized the Vietnamese people. They work really well together, and if they're being treated fairly and they're motivated correctly,
right,
that you can still get a.
Well, it speaks to the culture here. It speaks to the fact that OrthoLite takes care of its workers and that they're each on your wall and you value them as individuals, that they would find value in the culture that you've built enough to come on their day off or to hang out and be a part of something bigger than just making insoles. As important as that is, you've built something here that's really phenomenal.
And we want to make sure that culture is real. It's not like a poster on there, It's a real culture.
Right.
Because the Vietnamese, I found that out, they're not, you can't
fake it. Right. You can't fake it till you make it.
Man. And which was good.
Yeah. And so when even no one's watching, none of your customers are here, the culture is strong.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing even when no one's watching.
Yeah. The first few years I came every Saturday just to make sure. Every Saturday and make sure. But now it's kind of a waste for me to be here. They probably want me out.
Boss, you got to go. Yeah. We took our picture with you. You're good to go.
Exactly. And we've had knock on wood, 0 incidents or anything. Everything, and our production numbers, we've always met our targets.
Yeah.
So it's good.
What else can I ask you about? What else is important to you that I didn't ask you about, that we didn't talk about? What are some things that maybe I failed to really poke a hole in or explore with you?
Well, you may not know this, but
secret. Don't tell anybody.
I am the factory Santa Claus.
You are the factory Santa Claus. So tell me more. This is the most interesting thing you told me this entire interview.
So right before Christmas.
Yeah.
So we have the HR did a really good job of purchasing little gifts for all 1,000 and right now 20 workers, right?
Right.
So on that day, I have a Santa Claus outfit. I have a big bag. I have my helpers carry the other bags,
They're not filled with insoles, are they?
No. They're like, it could be socks. It could be little things,
Something to show your appreciation.
Yeah, and we do the whole factory.
That's so cool.
And I don't know, but I have a bad knee.
Yeah.
so my knee at the end of that day is toast.
That is. When did you start that? Like, was that something you came up with, or someone's like, Mark, it would be really cool if you dressed in Santa suit?
I came up with it.
Look, man, you're chock full of good ideas. So,
and I think you know about the Shoe Dogs, right?
Shoe Dogs United, here in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Tell me more about it. So I know about it, but yes.
Well, the Shoe Dogs, we support an orphanage.
I've heard that. Yep.
It's the Hope Orphanage. So the next day, Santa came to the orphanage too.
Oh my gosh!
So it's a good Christmas. It's good.
It sounds like a wonderful Christmas.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
And is this going to be tradition moving forward? How many years have you done the Santa Claus thing?
The Santa Claus thing here, I think 3 years.
And then the orphanage.
The first year was this year.
Yeah, I've talked to a number of folks in the Shoe Dogs group here in Vietnam about, and I see it on LinkedIn, I see the social things that you do to raise money for the orphanage. It's just such a really cool initiative that Western companies and Western expats have come together to support the communities in which you serve and work and live, right?
Right. I mean, I've been in several countries, and the Shoe Dog is really I don't know how to describe it. It's really one of the best groups that involve expats, involve Shoe Dogs that I've been involved with. It's really great mix of old and new,
Is that a DAWGS? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it. Right on.
Yeah. I follow. I'm an aspiring member. So.
So, I mean, and that's one of those things, personally, and I'm on the board, one of the board.
You're the chairman of the Shoe Dogs?
Not the chairman. I'm on the board.
That's what you aspire to.
Yeah. So anyways, as I've noted, the footwear has been really good to me.
You're the party committee chairman.
That's right. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's a great spot. Everyone loves the party guy. Everyone loves Santa Claus, right?
That's right. So
that's
anyway,
great.
It's a nice way to give back.
That's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, Mark, let's talk about sustainability a bit more because it is like the topic du jour that everyone's talking about. It's the Wild West, so it's defined differently depending on which probably customer you even deal with.
Exactly. Yeah.
So talk to me about what you do here at OrthoLite. We talked about recycled materials a little bit, but there's more to the roof.
Yeah.
And there's some other things that you're doing. Tell me more about it.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. The roof. Okay, so we were able to probably 3.5 years ago. We're going to jump on this quick. We were able to. There was a presentation I think that New Balance and Adidas put together, and condensed it with a solar panel company.
Yeah.
They presented it. And myself and I think Michael, we met earlier from our team here, went down and we were at the presentation and we said, we got to do this. Let's do it now.
Right.
And so we were able to convince headquarters to do it, invest in it. And we had everything all set up. And then COVID came.
Right.
So we did. So we had all these nice panels on our roof, on a roof here, on both of our roofs, and both our roofs. And I was kind of on hold, until COVID was over, so like 3 months or something like that. But it was actually pretty quickly after COVID, the restrictions were released, we got going. So that's been nice, and it's accounted for like 60% of our energy here.
Wow.
When you balance it out, how much it's used during the night and the day, it's about, I think it ends up to about 60%.
Well, and the brands love that, right, Mark? Because they are counting at tier 1, tier 2, maybe not so much tier 3, but their carbon footprint. They're trying to track that. And if you as a problem solver, collaborator, back to that theme, come to them and say, hey, we got the solar panels and we've reduced our carbon footprint, which means you've reduced yours. It's a plug and play system for them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's helped a lot in that relationship. I mean, and it's nice when we mention that because it seems like they come at us and are asking, it's like they're almost getting ready to tell us.
Right.
We didn't say, we got it.
We're done.
Yeah, we got it, man.
Yeah, welcome to our party. We started it, right? I know we went to your presentation, but it's all good.
Right.
All right, so from there, talk to us about kind of HIG. There's a lot of conversation on HIG, and it's one of the standards, particularly in the apparel side, but more so in footwear with each passing year. Talk to us about how you engage with HIG.
So the HIG kind of came along right around the same time I told you that we really started raised our EHS or environmental or
health and safety
mindset, mindset. And so about 5 years ago, 2018, we had our first HIG. And, it measures things like chemical management, it measures things like air,
wastewater,
waste, and environmental management, things like that. And our first year, we had a whopping 54% rating on our first year. And
how'd you feel about that when that number came in?
Well, we didn't know. It's like, is this good or bad? And so, but we realized it wasn't that good.
Right.
Okay. So, but at
least you were measuring at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And we knew, and we took it serious. We took it serious, and we had a EHS team that was really focused on it, and they presented this to the rest of the team. And our team kind of bought off on it and said, "Hey, we're going to improve this." So next year we got like 82. So
wow,
not bad.
Look at that.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, you went to Nike University. These skills are starting to really play out for you.
That's right. So again, it was 82, but some of the goals that we pressed, we want to go higher.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So drum roll.
So the one 89.
Okay.
And
Year
then,
3.
And then 95.
Oh my gosh.
And then last one was 98. And we're the highest rated for any this genre of manufacturing. We're the highest rated on that.
You got to be so proud of that.
Yeah.
98%.
Yeah.
That's
we are very proud of it. But, just
you can't rest on your laurels, though.
Well, it's the same thing as if you're playing a video game, right? You hit a certain level,
right.
Then you go and there's new requirements. So we're at that stage right now. We're in this, what we call, I think it's...
I have visions of you playing Super Mario Brothers for some reason, but all right, go, proceed.
Maybe, yeah. But so that's kind of our next challenge.
Right.
So we don't expect... Because that's more like a social responsibility type section of it. So anyways, we'll still maintain the FEM part of it, the environmental end, but then we'll move on to the social responsibility end. This will be our first year for that.
Again, you're solving problems for your customers, right? And I think that's one of the things that whether we like it or not, customers are expecting this kind of transparency, this kind of movement within the industry towards more sustainable practices. Right. And so how do you do that? How do you operationalize that? And you guys have come to your partners, your customers, and done a phenomenal job doing that. That's great. Well, you should be commended for the work that you're doing here. And that's what innovation is, right? That's what a company like OrthoLite does. They innovate on behalf of their customers to drive more value to their customers, which then makes their customers do well with their consumers. Then, customer's king.
Right. Right. And we have the team here to have that mindset to keep pushing that stuff through.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You should be really proud.
Thanks.
Thanks for this. I appreciate, Mark, you having me and sitting down with me and talking about these issues.
It's great.
I mean, the fact of your history for me personally, because you said Glenn is kind of like a kid in a candy store here at the factory. I'm very similar. I grew up with these brands. I was born in the 70s. I remember the Air Jordan 1s. I remember going to my dad, like, can you help me buy these shoes? Yeah. And he did. And so to come in and see these iconic companies being served by such an innovative company like OrthoLite is really fun.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. It was Mark, myself. We were just shooting the breeze in his office in Vietnam, not too far outside of Ho Chi Minh, or at least the Ho Chi Minh area. Mark is a stand-up guy. On his wall is a picture of Mark with every single worker in the factory. He's taking a picture with everyone. He avails himself to it, to his workforce, and they want to be there. In fact, at one point they had an event on a Saturday, which was not required to attend, and almost everyone showed up because it was a social event and people enjoyed it that much who worked there. So they just have fostered, and this starts with Glenn Barrett, the OrthoLite founder. They've just fostered an environment, a work environment, that is collaborative, innovative, and really compelling, to be honest with you. So Mark, I hope you kind of captured that in Mark's voice in our conversation. And feel free to download all of our episodes all throughout our catalog. Go to shoeandshow.com for everything that we are kind of talking about. If you have ideas of things you want us to talk about, if you want to come on Shoe and Show, hit us a note, send us a note at info@fdra.org, and we'll see if we can work you into the schedule. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, Shoe and Show is out.
Shoe In has been brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear. For information about FDRA, visit fdra.org.